Hello and welcome to the Thanatos guide. Just like my previous guide, I'm going to be splitting this video into 3 sections. First section, building. Second section, Thanatos' passive abilities and also his basic attack chain too. Then the most important section, how to use his basic attacks and abilities to fight, including things like combos. So to start off with, the starting build for Thanatos is Assassin's Blessing or Attacker's Blessing and Mace. Then 1 healing potion, 1 multi-potion. There is 2 other stats you can do. You can replace this item with either Round Shield if you want to build into Gladiator Shield or Shifter Shield first, or you can pick up Enchanted Buckler to build into Ancile or Runic Shield, but Runic Shield is much less likely, Ancile is better. You will generally pick this up if you're against a magical jungler and mid laner, and something like a Gladiator Shield or Shifter Shield if both the mid laner and jungler are physical, or you have a Baron on your team, because then you'll have enough for Baron's Brew. So we'll just get the Mace. Then you can either get Warrior Tabby and Artillery Boots, or you can even get Reinforced Greaves. Don't get Ninja Tabby. Thanatos is not an auto attack, or basic attack I should say, based god. Then after you've got boots, remember you always want to get your boots if you do start with a blessing and a tier 1 item. So most of the time you're going to want to pick up Jotun's Wrath. Obviously power, pen, cooldown, those are the main things you want on an ability based god like Thanatos. If you're ahead, you can get I'll reset that. You can get Crusher. This is when you're like quite far ahead. You've got like 1 or 2 kills before you get this item. This will allow you to snowball because you'll be hitting very hard, especially with increased flat pen and the attack speed as well. If they have a healer in mid, or they just generally have a healer that you know you might want to try and focus, you can get Brawlers here. I'll just pick up Jotun's Wrath. Then the next item, pretty much all the time, is going to be Hydra's Lament. Unless you went with one of the Round Shield stats, then you'd want to pick up Jotun's Wrath, then Hydra's Lament. After you get Hydra's, this is where we get into the more situational items. Certain situational items, most commonly you will want an item with a 10% cooldown reduction, preferably no more. So you can pick up a Shield of Regrowth, you can pick up something like Bloodforge. This is a must if you want to get Pentas. You can pick up a Shifter Shield if you want. If you didn't get Brawlers earlier but you've realised that healing is a problem, you can pick up a Brawlers. This will be in any of the items after Hydra's is where you'll pick up these items. So your last 3 items are always going to be these situational items. You can also get Crusher if you've started to snowball a bit harder than you did initially. You can get Void Shield if you want. Hide of the Urchin is also a really good pickup. Mantle of Discord, Spirit Robe, Magi's Cloak, all of these are very good items. Most people think that Thanatos falls off hard late game, but it's not that he falls off, it's that most people don't know how to play him late game and they just build full damage, and when you build full damage without any sort of health or protections, you will just get one shot in fights and your abilities aren't doing enough damage to justify just going full damage. And that's it for the building section. Okay, so the next section is going to be on Thanatos' passive abilities and basic attack chain. Let's go over his passive first. So his passive, I think it's easy to represent here. When you kill a god, you will restore, so say the target has 2000 health, you will restore 400 health to yourself, or let's say they have 1000 health, you'll restore 200 health to you after you kill them. With a minion, it's 10% of their max health. So in fights generally, as I'll explain later, when you're going to execute somebody with his ult, you generally want to try and execute a tank. If you have to decide between either a squishy or a tank, pick the tank, because that'll allow you to survive for longer. And also, this is the reason why you can get penta so easily with Thana, especially in games like Arena, is because of the extra passive as well. When you kill an enemy god, not only do you restore the health, but you also take away 5 seconds off all abilities that are on cooldown. And when you've built full cooldown, your 1 is on a 7.8 second cooldown. That means that after you get a kill, it will be on a less than 3 second cooldown, 2.8 seconds. And that's his passive. Then his 1, you are going to want to get this at level 1, and you're also going to want to max this first. It will deal damage plus 10% of the enemy god's max health as physical damage, which means it can be reduced by protections. He'll also heal for 75% of the damage dealt, and also it has a 20% slow on it, and it just looks like this. Most people know generally what it looks like. Then the ability you're going to want to generally get second is his this ability you'll put a point into 4th, but you will max second. Well, I generally like to max it second. You can also max his 3 second as well, which we'll get onto. His 2, it gives movement speed and penetration. If you're moving towards a god in execute range, you will double the movement speed you're getting from it, but you have to be moving in their direction. Thanatos' 3, he will deal damage, and he will also silence for 1 second. I'll show what the 2 looks like. It has 5 second duration. That's his 3. I would max this 3rd, and I'll explain why after I've explained the ult, because then I'll just explain the full upgrade order. His ult, he'll if the target is not under the kill HP threshold, which you can see there, you'll just deal damage and stun them. If they are within it, then you'll instantly kill that god. It's pretty simple, and it just looks like this. So the ability upgrade order, you want to put a point in your ult whenever you can, because by increasing the kill HP threshold, that also has a knock-on effect of buffing your 2, because of that bonus movement speed if the target is under the threshold. By increasing the threshold, you're effectively increasing how often you will be able to move as someone with the bonus movement speed. So put a point in your ult whenever you can, but you're going to want to max your 1 first. You'll have a point in your ult by this point, and then you're going to want to max your 2. A lot of people generally tend to max a 3, and if you're new to Thanatos, it might be a better idea for you to max your 3 if you aren't confident in hitting your scythe. You max the 2 because flat penetration early game is very effective. One thing to note is that the flat penetration cap is 50. This ability gives 35 pen, so when you're buying the maces in your build, any of these items, you will want to be very careful about overcapping. Now, if you buy 2 of them, it's not that big of a deal, but if you buy 3 of them, you are wasting a lot of flat penetration and effectively gold then. So you'll max your 2 first, then your ult, and then you'll finish it off with your 3. Then onto his basic attack chain. If you don't know what basic attack chain is, basically if you use a basic attack and then do one after and one after and one after and so on, it will have a chain. So as you'll see, he'll do one attack and then he'll do a fast one and then a slow one at the end. I'm actually just gonna reset my level, just so I'll attack slower now. So what this means is when you do your first basic attack, it will hit for, this represents 1 speed and 1 damage pretty much. Or if you want to think about in percentages, 100% damage and 100% speed. So this will follow completely the 1.02 attack speed, and it will also deal 121 damage. Obviously if they have protections, then it won't do the full damage. 0.75, this means it will do 75% of that basic attack damage you can see down in the bottom left, but it will also sort of do the basic attack quicker. So it will effectively boost the attack speed for that one basic attack. And then this 1.5, it will do 150% of this damage, but it will also be much slower than your normal attack speed. Now it says here that hitting in an AoE on the final blow. So this means that the third slow hit, as you can see there, it will hit multiple targets at once. I'll show you this on the Odin bots. So as you can see here, I'll just go to the third one. It will hit both of those gods. Might be able to hit 3 here actually. Yeah. It will hit all the targets in an AoE in front of you. So that can be really effective for clearing minions. So if you're going up to a group of minions and you see that they're all quite low and that your third attack will kill them, as you're walking up to them you can start sort of charging up and then hit the third hit. And that's it for Thanatos' passive abilities and basic attack chain. On to the third and most important section, the fighting section, where I'll showcase Thanatos' abilities and some high level tips and tricks to really take your game to the next level. I will just quickly discuss the relics here. You're going to get beads and blink. I forgot to mention these in the building section. But these are really important for fighting, especially blink, when I'm going to teach you how to get a pentakill. But firstly, we need to go over Thanatos' combos. So, Thanatos, all of his abilities can do somewhat of a basic attack cancel. If you don't know what a basic attack cancel is, it's pretty much using an ability before or after a basic attack hits a god. You don't have to wait for the full swing for him to sort of swing his scythe all the way down to the bottom left hand side. It's just as soon as your basic attack hits the god, you can use an ability straight away to do more damage in a short amount of time. You can do this with all Thanatos' abilities, which I'll show. You can do a basic attack, one, and then a basic attack after. Now, hitting the basic attack after, if you want to get it sort of as soon as you can, you'll do a basic attack, throw your one, and then whilst your one is going off, hold down the left mouse button, and a basic attack will come out at the other side. So I'm just gonna click the left mouse button, use my one, and then and then hold down the left mouse button, and it comes off very, very quickly. You can do the same thing with this 2. You can auto attack 2 and then hold it down and it will hit instantly after. You can do the exact same thing with this 3. I'll do a basic attack, 3, and then hold it down after. That will be the quickest damage you can get off. Now, something to note is you have to be careful of using a basic attack before an ability. This is most prominent with this 2, because if you use the ability too early, after you do the first basic attack, it will actually cancel the basic attack. As you can see there, it never hit, it got cancelled because I pressed 2 too early. You can do the same thing with the 3 and the 1. This happens most commonly early game because you have a lower attack speed. So if I were to try and do the 1, oh, I didn't press it then because I didn't have it upgraded. You can see the one before didn't go off. Then your 2, you obviously saw that. That will happen still at level 20 most commonly. Your 1 shouldn't happen at level 20 unless you're really, really quick on getting the 1 off. It's the same thing with the 3. You see, it didn't go off there either. I will show you Thanatos' ult combo, and I'll just tell you what the combo is before I do it. So I'm going to use my ult. I'm going to go to land on them. This is when somebody isn't in the execute threshold. I'll land on them, hold down the basic attack button so it comes out instantly after, throw my 1, do another basic attack, do 3, hold down the basic attack button, do 2, and then do another basic attack to finish it off. So I'm going to land, and I won't talk, you'll just have to watch. So I actually did my 2 before my 3 then. With any of his combos, you can do, say, basic attack 1, basic attack, and then 3, basic attack, and then 2, basic attack. You can change the order of any of those abilities. You just have to have the basic attack in between each ability. So as long as you start out with a basic attack, you just do ability, basic attack, ability, basic attack, ability, basic attack. Just remember you have a basic attack at the start and the end, and in between every ability. But you can swap around the order of any of the abilities. Especially pay attention to the cooldowns. Now I'll show you a higher level mechanic. This works on Thor, and I don't know whether it works on Apollo. I haven't played Apollo in a while. But if you're going towards someone in midair, if you turn midair, you will actually land facing them. I'll just show you it again. So as soon as you left click in the ult, you'll start heading towards the ground, and as you're heading down, you can turn your camera midair, so when you land, you will instantly be facing that enemy, and as you're obviously holding a basic attack down, you will hit a basic attack. If you see, if I turn completely around, I'm turning in midair and I'm hitting him. It works the exact same with Thor as well. That's a really high level mechanic, but it can help you cut down on times in fights, and it saved me more than once. Another tip I'm going to give is if a god is in a low execute threshold, I'll just get this Neath into the execute threshold. Okay, so as you can see, she's quite low here. She's in the execute threshold. If I use my 2, you can see how I'm going towards her fast. This also works with your roll. If you do your 2 before your roll, you will head towards the target quite fast. I'll actually show off the execute as well. So here, I'm just gonna ult. Dead. Easy. Now I'll teach you how to get an easy triple kill and possibly a pentakill. So what you're going to want to do is at the start of a fight, you're going to want to sort of let the fight play out for a bit, let the fight breathe, let it sort of take its natural sort of form. Trust in your team to do some damage to the enemies, just some. You only need enough for you to be able to say do 2, blink in, do that. If someone is low enough to be killed by that combo, where you blink in, do the combo with, do the basic attack cancels with the 1 and the 3, if someone will be killed by that, that's all you need to start off this. So that's the step 1, and that will get you 1 kill. As soon as you've done that, blinked in, instantly ult. You have to be very quick on that. Now when you ult, your abilities will be going on cooldown while showing your ult, and because you've just gotten a kill, even though you've used all of your abilities, that 5-second reduction, which I'll show you, if you look at each of the abilities, if I were to take 5 seconds off that, 3 seconds, 5 seconds off that, 3 seconds, 5 seconds off that, 4 seconds. Okay, Thanatos stays in his ult for 5 seconds. That means that while showing your ult, if you wait long enough, all of your abilities will come back up. So then you can either choose when you're landing in your ult to execute someone. Remember, you want to try and execute a tank, or land on someone who you know will die by the ult combo that I showed you earlier, which I'll just show you again. So I'm going to ult in. I actually mistimed the 2 there, but you get the idea. So you can either do that ult combo or execute someone. It's preferable to execute. Now once you've got that kill, even if you did the combo, you might have to try and just juke for a bit, or try and basic attack someone to see if you can kill another person, or just wait it out, wait for your abilities to come back up, and then get the third kill, use the combos that I showed you very firstly. You know, these combos. Remember, any order you can do them in. That will get you your third kill, and then you just want to rinse and repeat those initial combos. Those are your bread and butter on Thanatos. Your basic attack before an ability and after. And you can just chain a bunch of those together. And those will kill, especially if you're ahead, those will kill many people. And when you have the Bloodforge shield on you, because remember you get that shield, you will be tanky enough with some defensive items and that shield to outfight any backliner in the game. Remember, your purpose as an assassin is to dive the backline with, you know, preferably some sort of warrior, but it might just be up to you. So I've just taught you there how to get a triple kill. Now you just rinse and repeat those initial combos that I showed you, and you can kill a fourth person, that's your quadra kill. Kill another person, and that's your pentakill. And that is just what you're doing in the team fight. Remember, your team will be in that team fight too. They will be doing damage, so they might get some people low for you, so you don't even have to do all of those combos to kill people. You might just have to do a few. But the combo with basic attack 1 basic attack, or basic attack 2 basic attack, or basic attack 3 basic attack, you will have to pick the right one for the right situation, and that is just going to be completely up to you. Another thing is Thanatos' basic attacks. Obviously, as I showed you in the chain, this does 1.5 times damage. If somebody has an Aegis on them, and you have enough experience in the game, which I do, some people don't, but this will come with experience, is knowing the time of Aegis and how quickly you will be able to when you're going to have to hit them as soon as they come out of it. So it's 1.5 seconds. You will get used to hitting someone as soon as they come out of the Aegis. You have to get that timing right. And if you're using this chain, you don't want to just do the first basic attack, 'cause that only does 1 damage. You might want to secure the kill by doing the 1.5 times. So if this Odin was Aegis, for instance, just start charging up basic attacks and then hit the third one. Even if they're in their Aegis and that damage is doing nothing, the first two, you're getting that third hit, which is going to be doing the most damage by far. And also another thing is that you can maintain this chain. You don't have to just hold down the mouse button. If you hold down the mouse button, you will get the chain off, but you can space out the basic attacks like that. You can have spacing in between them. So if I was chasing this Odin, I know this Odin is, you know, quite slow. If I was chasing him, you can space them out. Remember that your basic attacks will slow you, so you might just have to give yourself time to catch up. And with an item like Shield of Regrowth, if you use your 1 on somebody, or you kill a god, it works with his passive too, you will get 40% extra movement speed. Imagine that 40% movement speed with that 60% you're getting from there. Now, that's 100% movement speed. Obviously in SMITE there's a thing called diminishing returns, so it won't actually be 100% movement speed, it will be less. But that is a lot more movement speed than any other god. And this has pretty much been it for the Thanatos guide. I hope you enjoyed and learnt something, and I hope to see you getting pentakills in SMITE with Thanatos. Thanks for watching.